we're trying to set a very particular study, and that is to view prayer through the book of Bereshit, or definitely through the sort of inheritance that is alluded to us through the story of the patriarch and matriarchs, and we know that the setting is of prayer is the three patriarchs, and the matriarchs are sort of I would say the vision of the purpose, or the vision of the possible future. So the three fathers plays in the playground, or in the ecology that knowing of the mother, of the matriarchs is setting by the being, by the knowing, and by the actions in that order. So when we start with in this portion of the week with the story of Yaakov, we need to see first the two, one can say the two names, which as we understood even from the beginning, speaks about two states of I would say of training, or sort of setting the group of spirit to be able to function within the history of humanity, or within history. So as we can see from the prayer of which is called the 18th prayer, or the standing prayer, which is called Tfilat Amida, we move now through that to actually grasp what is the meaning of the blessing, the meaning of the prayer that Yaakov is bringing into the work, or into the definition of what will be called Adam, meaning a consciousness that is uniting existence and life, a consciousness which is uniting corporality with spirituality, and spirituality by the definition of by a Kabbalistic definition, not by what we use as to describe spirituality. Most of our study is to actually unlearn the way we perceive it, in order to become more accurate, or I would say accurate is it's a bit pretentious, but maybe closer to the true meaning of it, and it is through prayer. So first is the two purposes of getting out of yourself, or getting out from where you were naturally defined by your forefathers, meaning by Avraham and Yitzchak. You have to run away from that place for two reasons. The reason that is uttered by Rivka is actually to flee, to be able actually to survive the intention of Esav, or to survive the power of Esav, and at least by fleeing, we will be able to start the reformation or correction of the murder of Hevel. Okay, so first it's positioning Yaakov in the state of becoming, not in a state of being fully himself or fully in his identity, which is called Israel. So the first thing is to go out. So the advice of the female part is to survive, to live, and to be able to in order to be able to function in the future as a reformator, as a reformer. Okay, and the advice of Yitzchak to Yaakov stems from the intention of the purpose of reformation, which is to gather the sparks, meaning to marry. Yeah. To marry those, or to sort of salvage the two, or at least the big sparks, which are still captive, still in a state of captivity in the root, or in the joint root of Avraham, his brothers and the family, the family that stayed outside and did not complete the move to Israel, meaning one can say to the branch that can connect to the root. So in that respect, we have a definition, one can say, of why exile, why there is an exile. So we can ask why there is the great shattering, first of the vessels, and second of the spirit. So we can see that in Jacob you have the vessel and the light, or the vessel and the presence, or the being of the spirit. So first is in order to reform vessel that will be able to receive the light, the infinite light, the great light, and second is to be able to actually reveal to oneself the depth of the will to receive to oneself, meaning the depth of what is there in myself, in humanity, to be reformed, to be redeemed. So in Jacob, you can say that in his story, we can in the prayer that is being formulated through him, we can see the purpose, because the first blessing of the 18th prayer speaks about Avraham and the fact of being able to be redeemed, protected and redeemed. So the power of protection, but you're protected with because there is a value. Yeah, there is a value to your life, to your survival. So you're protected by that, by that power that wish, by the grace that wish that the world will be built through that quality, the quality of grace. So this is how we meet the prayer, or the first blessing that refers to Avraham. Okay. Second, which speaks about Yitzchak, speaks about valor, and the ability to revive, to revive the dead, meaning to actually bring into consciousness those parts which are we call wicked or bad or evil, that were not able we were not able to reform them, so they can revive, at least on the way, and as it's hologramic, it means on the way, and in the end, it will be a gathering of all those lights of reformation that can actually revive the hard core of Malchut, in order to allow light to extend itself into her. Okay, that's and then when we actually meet the third one, it speaks about the reality actually of the third line, sort of uniting or bringing into union those two, I would say, power ingredients of grace and valor, but it brings into I can say into an expression, a new reality, and the new reality is called holiness or sanctity. It means that the definition of it is bringing together or unifying two oppositions, which is what we spoke about, grace, which belongs, it's a quality and value that belongs to the higher, belongs to the creator, and the will to receive and the ability to overcome it and to turn it into a service vessel towards the purpose, is what Yitzhak is bringing into the picture. So it means that Yaakov, as the bearer of holiness or sanctity, speaks about the definition of what is holy or what is sacred. What is sacred is a meeting point between the left and the right, meaning between the createe and the creator, or qualities of light, or qualities of the creator, of bestowal, and qualities of reception. And when they meet and they are able to be a reality together, this is what we call, or this is what is called, holy or sacred. So this is why the third speaks about sanctity, okay, the third blessing. So this is what actually opens the aspect of what it means Israel prayer. It's a constitution. This is what can actually pray. But there is a sort of a set which is setting up a stage in that respect, or I'll have to say ecology for lack of better word. So 18 prayer starts with and stems from the history of Yaakov in this portion. And the history is not when he's dreaming of the ladder and revealing that there is God in a place that he did not even imagine that is possible, but actually when he goes out and he meets the well, the well and all the herds and the shepherds that are gathered around the well. So to gather oneself around the well speaks about that from the point of the ability to work, which is the ability to work in three line, to unify opposition, is around the well. And the well speaks about the fact that the ability of a personal prayer is expired. It's no longer viable, useful, or effective. To gather around the well speaks about the nature of the prayer, or the condition of the prayer. And the condition of the prayer is that we pray for all. We pray for the general well, not only well-being, but life, redemption of all. So from that point on, from the first meeting of Yaakov with the well, the prayer sets itself to be sort of a condition that we are able to express. It's more than expression. It's we are able to give reality, or to give life, to give a state of being, an effectiveness to a prayer, only when we go out of ourselves, meaning out of our personal needs and wishes, including our personal wishes for spirituality, and we enter a different speech. And this is why, as a setting for any prayer, we say God Lord, which means Adonai, which means that which rules the nature of life in creation, which is called Adonai. We are asking or calling this power to open our lips. God Lord, open my lips, meaning the two positions, the higher and the lower, which are represented in the function of the lips. Okay? So we're asking them to open it from to a structure that will be able to utter and to say a discourse, a sort of declaration of the glory, yeah, of the praise. So it means that the only possibility is a name of Adonai, which is divinity, which speaks about the net, the connection between the spirits. In that presence, that force can open our lips, in order that our mouth will reveal the glory of, and the glory speaks about middle. Only the middle line can actually utter or express the new reality of those two forces coming together through the net of divinity, meaning the net of all that, all the needs of reformation. And that actually creates a mouth, meaning a malchut, and a connection between higher and lower divinity, Shekhinah, that can, as the only dwelling place, that can reveal the value, the nature, the quality of the Creator. So this is a setting up, and that is coming to the well, or Yaakov is coming to the well to actually converse. We see that Yaakov is conversing with all the shepherds and the herds, asking them whether they remember that they all come from the same place, from infinity. And they say that, and if they remember that they all come from infinity, they must remember, or they ought to remember, that it has an intention of bestowing goodness. But their answer is that what they experience or what they remember is only the wrath of God. So it means that, and they're saying that only when every part of the net of the spirit will gather true reformation, or true power of being able to reveal, meaning to move the heavy stone that is covering the water, which is Torah or light or life, will be able to reveal itself. But then what we see is when Yaakov witnessed Rachel approaching, which is to do with a specific malchut that belongs to the identity of what will create Israel. He has a power, or he gets, is being a power is being extended to him to move it by himself, meaning to move it as one can say as a form that is going to be created with Rachel, and that can move this stone and allow everyone to drink from that well. So you can say that the setting up of the prayer and the possibility of Israel as a service unit for all the herds and all the spirits of all other nations and all other expressions of the creation is being set then, and with that the meaning and the definition of prayer is being set as well. Okay, so